Pain has a way of exposing the depth of friendships. It reveals who truly stands with us and who quietly pulls away, or worse, who makes the wounds deeper. In the story of Job, we meet a man who has lost it all: his wealth, his children, even his health. And in the middle of these storms, his friends show up: Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. At first, they do something powerful. They sit with Job in silence for 7 days. No words, no preaching, no advice, just presence. And honestly, that silence might have been the most comforting thing they ever did. But after the silence came the words, and that's where everything broke down. Job's friends looked at his suffering and thought, there must be a reason. You must have done something wrong. Maybe you sinned. Maybe you offended God. Instead of offering comfort, they offered blame. Instead of compassion, they brought judgment. And Job, in his deep pain, had to defend himself against his own friends. Imagine that. You're already in ashes, grieving, and the people you hoped would understand only add weight to your suffering. Does that sound familiar? Have you ever been in a place where instead of love, people gave you lectures? Where instead of support, you got suspicion? Maybe you've ever been that friend who thought giving the answer was better than simply being there. The truth is, Job's friends remind us of something important. Sometimes silence is powerful than speeches. Sometimes presence is more healing than explanations. I'm reminded of a very interesting verse in Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verses 2. Better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and the living will take it to heart. When standing with friends who are suffering, who are in pain, we have less words to offer and more of a shoulder to lean on. But Job teaches us another lesson too. He was honest with God. He didn't pretend. He didn't put on a religious mask. He cried out. He asked questions. He poured out his heart. And guess what? God wasn't offended by Job's honesty. God can handle our raw pain, our confusion, our doubts. Let's bring this closer to life. Maybe you've lost someone dear, and a friend said it was God's will when all you needed was a hug. Maybe you've gone through financial struggles, and instead of encouragement, someone whispered, maybe you're just not faithful enough. Or maybe in your moments of weakness, people distanced themselves because your pain was too messy for them. Oh, this here reminds me of myself, and I know it does to you. Life entails seasons. Today we are the one needed encouragement. Tomorrow you are the one giving encouragement. Job's story speaks right into that reality. Pain can isolate us, yes, but it can also reveal who truly loves us. Here's some life lessons from Job's friendships in pain. Be present, not perfect. The best thing Job's friends did was sit silently with them. Sometimes the ministry of presence speaks louder than 1,000 sermons. Don't assume, don't judge. Pain is not always the result of sin. Struggles are not always punishments. God's ways are higher than ours. When we assume, we wound deeper. Choose compassion over explanations. In suffering, people don't need theories. They need empathy, a shoulder to cry on, a safe place to heal. Bring pain to God honestly. Like Job, we must learn that God is not intimidated by our cries. He welcomes honesty. Real faith is not silence in suffering, but trust even with tears. So here's the challenge. When your friends walk through pain, will you be the one who adds weight or the one who helps them carry it? And when you yourself walk through pain, will you trust that even if people misunderstand you, God still hears, God still sees, and God will never leave your side? Friendship in pain is not about giving answers. It's about giving love, and love never fails.